very quickly.
So let me pick up a recent column by Ajaz Ashraf that provocatively makes the point that Rahul Gandhi's Congress today represents the Hindu left, and that the Congress waited a long time for the Hindu center to respond to it. The Hindu center didn't. So Rahul Gandhi has now attempted to create or build this new social base. That's why he talks so much about the caste census and so on. And it worked in containing, not defeating, but containing Modi in 2024. But it's only a matter of time before these local conflicts that you referred to, local competitiveness with regional allies plays out. Because in many ways, they're going to be competing for the same kind of social base. There was a time when the Congress would compete for a different social base, and let's say a Samajwadi Party would compete for a different social base. Today, you're in a situation where the base that the Congress is trying to build for itself, the new base, is very similar to the base of its state allies. So isn't there going to be an inevitable contradiction? And what do you make of this phrase, Gandhi's Congress represents the Hindu left?
Look, Rahul Gandhi coming with the picture of Shivji and other, Guru Nanak and other pictures in Parliament, which some people liked and some did not. It's fine. If he wants to give the impression that Shivji for us and Ram for you, if that is their message, or as you point out, a Hindu left that, you're not takedars of Hinduism. Hindu Samaj is not represented by Narendra Modi, BJP or the RSS, which is what he said in Parliament. Fair enough. A lot of people will say, yes, that's fair enough. But will, this Hindu left, so the lower castes as well as the Hindu plank, which the BJP cornered for much of its 10 years under Modi, and that is now slipping out of his hand, will Rahul Gandhi become the accepted symbol of that? It's too early to say that. I'm very interested in that question. How have people at the ground level taken this rhetoric of his in Parliament on Hindu, the Hindu lecture that he gave? Many people, of course, the secularists would have said, go for NEET, go for Agniveer, go for Kisan problems, stick to those things and put the government sharply on the mat. Get your facts right and corner them, day after day. But he's chosen to go another route and to fashion an ideological alternative with Hinduism being a base of it. We are as Hindu as you are. Because the country is
but then in Parliament you use this sort of symbolism of Hindu. Even when you speak about the Agniveer issue, you make sure you in this case being Rahul Gandhi, you make sure that Lord Shiva's portrait is right behind you. But then you also say that we have defeated the Ram Mandir movement. In other words, you're equating the aspiration for a Ram Mandir to a BJP movement, which politically it is, but at the level of faith, it's not. Right? So these are two separate things. So isn't this navigation of the position on Hinduism quite contradictory so far?
This is where I find, it is not thought through.
Yeah.
I think it needs greater thinking, the formulation of an ideological alternative to what the BJP has offered the country, say in the last 10 years. Much more thought needs to go in. And even say, for instance, Barkha, forget, they talked about the caste thing. This time in Uttar Pradesh, the Jat moved away, the Rajput sat at home, the Brahmin, a section of the Brahmin, which is the most significant thing happening in UP, if they are shifting away from BJP, and there were indications that they were, for a variety of reasons, and the Dalit moving away, because they thought the constitution would be changed. Now, when the Dalit realizes the constitution is not going to be changed to take away their arakshan, does the Dalit stay with the opposition side? Or even in Maharashtra, where I'm sitting at the moment, the sympathy factor worked in the favor of Mahavikas Aghadi in the Lok Sabha election. But sympathy factor, the expression of sympathy does not happen again and again. Just as expression of anger happens only once. It's also a blast that comes out.
Yeah.
Does it happen with the same kind of potency the next time round? No.
Actually,
for
in a way, the BJP and Rahul will have to grapple with the same thing. In economics, it's called the law of diminishing returns. For the
that's right.
BJP, the discovery is Hindutva, Mandir, Hindu, Muslim, law of diminishing returns. Modi needs a new script. For Rahul, being an antagonist to these politics has got him 99 seats in Lok Sabha. But now, what's his narrative? Is his narrative, I'm the soft guy, I'm the metrosexual to Modi's muscular nationalism, I'm the guy who'll always be with the people? Is he the tough guy like he was in Gujarat? We talk a lot about Modi 3.0, but who or what will Rahul 3.0 be? We don't know that either.
Yes, and it's beginning to evolve, but it is not yet clear the direction that evolution is taking. Because of the, as you say, that he's made yesterday on the Mandir movement something. He's brought Shivji's picture, and those posters with him and the Shivji picture are now all over. I believe they were all over Gujarat. They're in different parts of the country going up. So I think the Congress party will have to get clear. And let me say this, another pitfall for Rahul. I don't want to, because Rahul is emerging very well, Barkha. Given the courage he's displayed in the last years, people now say at least this man was consistent in what he was saying. So people are looking at him as an alternative to Modi, a serious alternative to Modi for the first time, I feel. And that's a larger group. His popularity ratings are going up. Younger people are looking at him with new eyes. All that is there. So one doesn't want to pull him down. But Rahul's problem is that he consults very few people within his party and in the opposition, even about what he should say. How should he formulate that? Because it involves each one of those parties. What he will say as leader of the opposition has a bearing on their future trajectory in politics.
Where does Modi calibrate vis-a-vis this? So let's come to Manipur. If we go back to where we started, that Rahul is in Manipur, the Congress has constantly put the BJP on the mat for its handling of Manipur. Even as the Prime Minister left for Russia today, they said, when are you going to go to Manipur? In fact, if we can show that tweet, they had a tweet today where they showed all of the places that Rahul Gandhi had gone to: Manipur, Assam, Karnataka, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. And they said Modi has not been to any of these places. So there is a kind of, as I said, an emotional outreach or a reaffirmation of them as the voice of ordinary people. How does Modi, who once occupied the space because he was the ordinary person, right? Rahul Gandhi was the one with the silver spoon. Modi was the ordinary person who rose through the ranks. Today, Rahul Gandhi is saying, I am the voice of the ordinary people. It's the Prime Minister who's elite. There's an attempted role reversal by the Congress. How do you see Modi thus far responding to this?
I was very interested in the comment he's supposed to have made a day after the results came out to his ministerial colleagues. And one of them told me this, that he said, we will also run a coalition government successfully. Hum coalition dharma nibhayenge. But when it came to the nitty-gritty, he chose to take the old tough line, business as usual. Yes, very conciliatory to his new allies in the alliance. They're not making any noises. So the way they have worked things out, the understandings forged with whether it's the TDP or Janata Dal U or other parties, they are happy with it for the moment. They have not said anything. They've accepted all the portfolios going to the BJP, the speaker becoming Om Birla becoming the speaker again, and so on. But it is the opposition, a very strident opposition, and you will expect that with the numbers that they have in Parliament today. He's not giving in at all. No, I sometimes think, suppose the pro tem speaker, K. Suresh, who was the senior most, had been given to the Congress party. Pro tem speaker is a two-day wonder. It's a gesture of goodwill. Suppose even the deputy speaker had been given to the opposition, one of the opposition parties. That's happened in the past, not always, but it has happened in the past. Another goodwill gesture is not going to make much of a difference because the speaker belongs to your camp. Now, I think somewhere he's come to the conclusion that to be tough, or maybe they fear if we give an inch, they will take a mile. The other
Yeah.
side, which is possible also given the new
But
situation.
but you are saying in some ways Mr. Modi has not made those small gestures, but there's no telling that if he had, because one thing the BJP will say is, look, we all heard Rahul Gandhi's speech. Rahul Gandhi and the opposition shouted the Prime Minister down. There's an example. We were reconciliatory, the opposition was not.
That they have a point there, Barkha.
Yeah.
The Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of India. He's your Prime Minister, my Prime Minister. Even with 240 BJP seats, he is in a majority. And he needs to be respected. He deserves that respect. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
And also the kind of language in Parliament, maybe I'm old school. I feel Sanyam, there has to be restraint. You can be very sharp. We've seen good debates, cut and thrust of debates, humor, witticism, sharpness, holding them to account. We've seen that in past decades. You don't have to be insulting or, bring it to a level which is not called for. Either side. I would say the Prime Minister also, during the campaign, the kind of language that he used.
Yeah.
About the minority community, for instance. People didn't like it, and that's why they've got the numbers they have.
I agree with you on both your points. Let's take a couple of comments from our audience stream. Prasad says, Barkha, I still feel Rahul bringing back religion into the political discourse is giving away the advantage back to the BJP. Even if people felt that religion in politics is a thing of the past, it's not. It was clearly a high-risk gamble that Rahul took, when he held up all those posters. Now what he's saying about Ram Mandir. There was a time in the campaign when you couldn't get an opposition leader to talk about religion. You couldn't even get them to give enough tickets to Muslims. They seem to have shed that defensiveness, but without clarity on what their ideological positioning is.
That's a very interesting question. That's a question on which opinion on the opposition side is divided. There are people who felt very unhappy that those religious figures were brought into parliament. Today, Rahul brings Shivji's picture. Tomorrow, somebody else will bring Lord Ram's picture. Today after, somebody else will bring somebody else's picture. And you will say, how does it matter? It's unusual, unprecedented. How does it matter? At one level, okay, it doesn't matter to ordinary people. So that is one view, people who are unhappy about the consequences of doing something, to the consequences of messaging in that fashion. There are other ways of messaging. And there are those who feel, no, this is a space we occupy. Rahul is as much a Hindu as Narendra Modi, and he stated it very forthrightly. So there are two opinions, no doubt about that. But yes, there is a point in that you are fighting on what has so far been the BJP's turf.
Yeah.
Instead of taking the narrative of making your point, yes, I am a Hindu, as much a Hindu, but moving away from there. Moving onwards from there to what are the issues, NEET. I would have thought NEET was the burning issue, with 23-24 lakh youth affected.
Yeah.
And young people are the constituency that is looking at the Congress, at Rahul Gandhi particularly today. That was the issue to go for. Completely, not let the government get away with an inch.
So you think you are saying if you were in Rahul Gandhi's shoes, you would have gone all out on NEET.
Yes.
And as opposed to kind of tinkering with where to place religion in politics.
Absolutely. There's another place. There's another forum for it. In any case, this debate has, panned out in the just held elections. There was enough of this being done.
Yeah.
And the country's come to a conclusion. The country's given a mandate. And certainly young people and NEET, I would have, as the first speech by the leader of the opposition, should have figured. And as I said, having done his homework on facts and figures, I think not allowed the government to get away on NEET as they have done so far.
Yeah, because now the ball is in the Supreme Court's sort of chambers, and now it's less the government that is accountable, and it's become more a legal case rather than a political case.
That's
So
right.
You make an interesting point, but let's for a moment look at what he's trying to do. There is a pattern. I don't know where the religion fits into that pattern, but the pattern is Agniveer, NEET, flood victims, stampede victims, violence victims. I am your voice. He's doing a "we the people," to borrow my old show's name. He's saying, "We the people, I'm with you," and that is his positioning. Whether that's the positioning that will run through if he ever does win power, whether that is what state governments, whether Congress is in power, represent is a different debate. But that is certainly the optic that he is seeking to build on. Is it working?
Yes, I think at one level, Barkha, after his Bharat Jodo Yatra, and that Bharat Jodo Yatra with its Mohabbat Ki Dukaan, and that was the one thing that was done by Rahul Gandhi, not as Rahul himself, not as a member of the Nehru Gandhi family and an entitled individual. People saw it. He walked 4,000 kilometers on his feet. It was his achievement. And then on the way, embracing people, picking up children, old women, and exactly what he's continuing to do. The images that are coming now from Hathras, images that are coming from Manipur. And Manipur is an issue that the Congress has raised in the last 1 year repeatedly. That is Congress's achievement. Putting the Prime Minister on the mat, the BJP on the mat on that issue is the Congress's achievement. And if I was a Manipuri, I would say, no, I don't want to break away. I know I've been treated very badly, and this is what I've suffered, but I would want to stay with India because there are big groups of people who stand by me. So they have put, they have brought that kind of healing, or trying to bring that kind of healing, but much more needs to be done. Now, I don't know whether leader of the opposition can take a group to Manipur of MPs, other eminent citizens.
Interesting
to
thought.
meet with,
Yeah.
but new initiatives, if the government doesn't do it, maybe the government will also be, if the LOP takes an initiative, the government may have to come on board. But a new initiative needs to be taken to reach out to the people of Manipur who've suffered enough during the last year.
Yeah.
And that is reaching out to the northeast of India.